Welcome to another edition of Minor Obsession. I'm Scott Lieberman, and we've got a really fun show for you today. We will be playing for you our last interview from Football Media Day with quarterbacks coach Mark Carney. So he's got some interesting stuff of his past with Will Healy to his present, and obviously the quarterback position is one of the most interesting positions we have going right now with two quarterbacks starting for the first game against Gardner-Webb. So we'll be playing that for you, and then be on the lookout for another podcast on Thursday morning to kind of get you ready for the season and the first game of the year. So be on the lookout for that. We'll give you a little special edition preview of the football season. Continue to remember that we are still doing our contest, Wear Green Wednesdays. You tag us and 49ers Licensing on Twitter with a selfie of yourself wearing green, hashtag Wear Green Wednesday, and you can win a prize. Lots of cool prizes so far, more cool prizes to come. And with all of that said, enjoy the interview and be on the lookout for our next podcast in just a few more days. Wear green, go Niners. All right, we got Coach Mark Carney, quarterback coach for the Charlotte 49ers, and we'll go right into it. Former quarterbacks coach for Coach Will Healy.
Yes, sir.
Is he as bad as he says he is?
You want the truth?
Yeah,
the truth.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. No. Will he's always a competitive guy. Well entrenched backup during our time at Richmond, though. Now I will say this: our starter was like 38-12 in his career with a national championship and 10 playoff wins under his belt. So there was pretty stiff competition.
Yeah, he was nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that Richmond crew, he had some pretty good success there.
A lot of really good players there. Did a great job recruiting, and it's a great small school setting and in a great area of the country, and we were able to have great success with some really, really good football players.
Did you know back then that Healy was primed to be a coach? Was he that backup QB on the side coaching up people?
Yes. So the best thing about Will, I think that the best story I can give you is well-entrenched backup, goes into his senior season. Eric Ward was our starter's name, and again, he went 38-12, rarely lost. Going into his senior season, though, his teammates voted Will captain, which speaks volumes, I think, of the way he was able to lead his guys without being the main focus point of the offense, really, and the respect that he commanded from those guys in the locker room, on the field, off the field. Great servant leader, always has been, and continues that to this day.
Well, you have a pretty interesting background, and for those 49er fans, we used to be in the A-10, so you coached at Richmond, and you played at Fordham and did a little coaching there.
Yes, sir.
And pretty successful quarterback.
I was okay. I had fun. I had a lot of really good players around me. Made my job easy.
Now, we don't normally think of Fordham necessarily as a football school in the middle of the Bronx, I believe, right?
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about playing in New York, and you actually played in a pretty important time in our history, right?
Yes,
you were the senior during 9/11.
Yes, it was. That was I believe it was our second or third game, and I remember waking up on a Tuesday and watching the planes hit the towers. The guy who hosted me on my recruiting trip passed away that day, lost his life in those towers. So it was a difficult day. We were one of the last games in the country to get canceled. We were scheduled to play Columbia, another New York school. And then I think the thought was, hey, show a little solidarity. You're not going to phase us. We're two New York schools going at it, and the only game in the whole country. But I think cooler heads prevailed and canceled it on Friday. Yep. Made it up on Thanksgiving Day and got after their tail pretty good. So worked out. But yes, it was a difficult moment but it galvanized our team. And like I said, I had a lot of really good players around me, and we had a ton of fun there.
And that eventually turned into the Liberty Cup, I guess, when you were first as an assistant.
Yes.
And now I guess Columbia, kind of like Chapel Hill with Charlotte,
very similar,
doesn't like to play Fordham anymore because you guys beat them so
Exactly. Bad. You got it. That cup has now ceased to exist.
So you had a good playing career. What was that decision there to transition into being a QB's coach? And
Sure. So when I finished up playing, had some opportunities to visit some NFL teams and throw some balls for GMs and head coaches and position coaches, and Bruce Arians was the quarterback's coach in Cleveland at the time, where I'm from. So
He loves it.
went to do that. He's a great coach. The workout wrapped up, and he kind of looked at me and said, "All right, well, what are you going to do now?" I was like, "Well, I guess not play here." So, and I had the opportunity. I knew I had the opportunity to get into coaching. Had some interest from the AFL, the Arena League, but it wasn't what it grew to be eventually, and decided to jump into coaching and get a great start. And luckily I ended up on a great staff, and there was movement, got to transition to Richmond, and from Richmond after the national championship to Bowling Green, and now here. So worked out for me.
So we talked to Coach Healy a couple months ago, and he mentioned that his history and what he likes to do involves two QBs at times.
Sure.
Can you give us a little insight on what you've been working on there without giving away too much?
Yeah, obviously we're in a great competition. We brought Brett Keane here after a spring with Chris and Evan to compete, and that's what we're doing right now. After 4 practices, can I name a starter? Absolutely not. But that's what training camp's for, and whether it's one guy that plays or 2 guys that play or 3 guys that play, they will have earned it, and when you earn it, you deserve the right to play. So all 3 guys are doing a really good job right now. We're getting better every single day, every single practice. Chris Reynolds is having an outstanding camp so far. He's very efficient throwing the football. Brett obviously was here in the summertime and did some things in the throw game that really impressed you, but he hasn't operated the offense, so he's getting more and more comfortable every day. And Evan is a great balance of both, I think. I mean, he has a great command. He makes great decisions. We've got to take advantage of every single rep that we get because practicing 3 guys, you don't get a great chance to get into a rhythm. But part of what we talk about with the gold standard is being ready for your opportunity, right? And being opportunistic when that time comes and taking advantage of those things. So I think the 3 guys are doing a great job right now. So 2, 3, 1, who knows? We'll see in a week or so.
Do we have that good dynamic of support between the 3 of they're all competitive, but whoever
Absolutely.
gets the job, they're right behind them?
Absolutely. It's like Coach Healy says it after practice all the time. Things should be testy between the white lines, but you cross off that field and go into that building. Those things can't carry over in there, and those guys built a strong relationship throughout the summer in the weight room with Coach L and out here, and it was the same splitting reps the whole way. So they're used to it now and supporting each other and learning from each other's mistakes and being supportive of one another when those mistakes do happen. And the young guys, too, they've been really great leaders for the room.
So with your relationship with Coach Healy, I'm just kind of curious. I know a lot of the coaches are kind of from that Will Healy tree.
Sure.
You're a little unique because you
Sure.
actually coached him.
Sure.
And now you're working for him.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that dynamic and what made you follow him here?
Yeah, I think I've always Will and I obviously stayed in touch throughout his coaching career at Chattanooga, and as he got his head coaching career started at Austin Peay, I went out to visit him and learn how he ran his program and the same things he preaches here. I mean, I had 60 players come up and shake my hand after a practice, and it blew my mind that he created that culture. Following that spring, that was the season they took off and jumped from 0-11 to 8-4 and had a spectacular season. And there was a coordinator change at Austin Peay, and we were in touch and potential move there, and then this job happened, and I was more than happy to follow him here. This is a great place and a great city, and jacked up about it.
Yep. And you're just down the street from old colleague of yours, Dave Clausen.
Yes,
who,
sir.
You've got a lot of history with there,
yes,
too.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
You still in contact? And
Absolutely. I worked with quite a few of those guys, Coach Clausen, Coach Ruggiero, their coordinator there. The strength coach, Brandon Horrigan, and I are very close friends. The running backs coach, John Hunter. We met up a time or two this summer and hit the little white ball around. So it's great to have those relationships so close, absolutely.
Yep.
And what's your handicap with that little white ball?
I'm not as good as Coach Healy, let's put it that way.
Little softer question here. Is there a game on the schedule right now, minus Clemson, obviously we know that one's going to be a tough one there, that you think is really the prime one you've got circled as let's have a real good showing at this game?
Yeah, Gardner-Webb
just starting it off
that's number
strong.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's number one. It's the start of the Will Healy era, and what better way to put a start on that thing than a great performance there. So all our attention right now is on game number 1. Having the opportunity to play in front of your home fans on a Thursday night, primetime game. So we're gearing up, and that's what our focus is.
We're expecting it to be packed. I hope.
Absolutely.
Playing under the
Let's
lights.
go
kicks
Niner
off the
Nation.
air.
Man.
Good.
Let's go, baby.
Any other questions from you?
No, not really. We appreciate your time.
No problem.
Loving
guys.
Charlotte,
Thanks for
hopefully.
having me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's been great. I can't wait to get my family here. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make the move happen just yet, but I'm excited about getting them here and getting them around the staff and the families, and they'll certainly be in for games. But I got a 13-year-old soccer player right now who's pretty good and enjoying her time in Richmond. So
the fun thing about that is we have a really good soccer program.
I know it. Trust me, I've had to do my research. The Charlotte Independence and what's the other one? The Charlotte Soccer Academy. Those are. She can't wait to get here.
Well, really. 49ers too.
Absolutely. No, that was my daughter's first question. Congrats on the new job, Daddy. Do they have a soccer team? And we looked it up, and sure enough, super successful. So. Saturdays in the fall, she may split her time between this stadium and across the road there. So we'll make it work, though.
All right. Well, Appreciate you stopping by.
Good deal.
Look forward to seeing what you put on the field this season.
Awesome. We're excited. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.